Make vibes positive again. I gotta jump on the bandwagon. I gotta throw something together quick to make Ale Senpai notice me and maybe plug me again. How are you so good at this? I will ask that you forgive me, though, in this video titled Positive Vibes, for starting out with some less than positive vibes. I've been working a really long time on the next couple of videos, so long, in fact, that I've actually grown this hair. Speaking of which... that's better. I have a sinking feeling that when I actually release these next couple of videos, everyone's really gonna wonder what took so long. Regardless of whether or not you believe it, or whether or not you think it's actually worth it when these videos drop in the next couple of weeks, they have taken me, at least in one case, over a year to make. And that's not exactly something that I'm proud of. Maybe it's because things have taken so long that I've been so down lately. I used to be able to put out a video every week, no problem. What the fuck happened to me? There are people who are subscribed to me, don't ask me why, that put out consistent, polished products on a regular basis. After a while, you start to wonder if you're good enough. Maybe it's not a coincidence that life keeps getting in the way. Maybe everyone else is just better at this than you. So like 3 weeks ago, Kindale War makes a video telling everybody to make vibes positive again by talking about stuff that they just love. And I think that's exactly what I needed. So even though I have no idea what kind of YouTube drama prompted this train, not that I would give one iota of a shit anyways, I am jumping on. So here's a bunch of stuff that I just love. And oh boy, you're gonna be surprised by this first one. It's Twist Central, oh my god. Yeah, let's get the obvious one out of the way. I'm actually kind of skeptical about the future of this show, but for the first few volumes at least, I really can't bring myself to hate on this series. For the time he was still with us, it was just Monty getting his friends together and having a great time, and I can't be mad at that, no matter how much exposition they throw at me. Without Monty being limited by an existing universe, he's allowed to get as crazy as he wants here. And boy oh boy does he ever get crazy. And because he was in total control over the project and how it was made, he filled it up with some of the most talented people to ever work at this studio. The aesthetic is sublime, the voice work is mostly solid, the soundtrack is a masterwork, and I don't care what anyone else says, Shane's animation is definitely on par with Monty's. I'll be talking about it more in depth soon, but for now you could always go and watch the podcast. And another obvious one for those that know me well. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one. Dead Fantasy is basically RWBY before RWBY. It's a fan animation series created by Monty Oum before RT snatched him up to work on Red vs. Blue. And what's weird is that people always seem to hype up Haloid, which was another big fan animation series made by Monty and the one that got him noticed, but I always like Dead Fantasy a lot more. It's got a colorful cast of Dead or Alive and Final Fantasy characters, most of them female, and while the model quality isn't great, everything else about it definitely is. You can sort of start to see Monty build up his acumen for giving characters personality through action rather than dialogue. So if you like RWBY but wish it had faster pacing, please just go watch this, you won't regret it. And once again, I can't wait to talk about it more. I still haven't beaten any of these games, but I am halfway through DS2 and 2 Lords of Cinder through DS3, and god, I can't wait to go back and try some more. Many creators better than myself have already talked about this series a lot more, and you can go watch their videos, but I will say this. DS2 is seriously underrated. I actually never played the first one, and got into the series on a whim when I saw a touched-up version of DS2 was out. And god, did I hate it. I heard all about this difficult but fair thing that just was not there. I was ready to write the whole series off as some really overhyped S&M session. Then I watched Super Bunny Hop's critical close-up of the first one and realized I was just being stupid about everything. And after that, I totally fell in love with this game. Now that I realized how to play smart and how to play cooperatively with others, I was having a blast. Then I got DS3 as a birthday gift and found that I actually liked Scholar of the First Sin's aesthetic over DS3. While there is a lot more color, a wider variety of enemies, and a whole lot more polygons, everything in DS3 feels a bit gamey and floaty, and its textures are kind of foggy sometimes. But after a while, I think it's kind of growing on me. When I started to accept the texture popping and things clipping through each other, I really truly got into it. I definitely see what everyone was talking about in DS2's level design though. When Hidetaka Miyazaki is at the helm, the levels are definitely better. although that might be an understatement. These are some of the best 3D levels in gaming. When I started actually getting into DS3, I finally truly got it. I got the hype behind this series. And man, is that a wonderful feeling. Soul Eater holds a special place in my heart. It was one of the first shows I started watching when I really got into watching anime, which, unfortunately for my young self, was also around the time I got an Xbox. It's pretty amazing how versatile this show is. It can go back and forth between being pretty serious and extremely lighthearted, pessimistic and uplifting, and between being childish and very mature. And I expect fans of the manga will probably just tell me to read the manga, and yeah, I should probably go do that at some point. But I don't think any other animation studio would have done a better job than Bones. This is some of their best work. Everyone's animation is buttery smooth and expressive as hell. The fight choreography is actually some of my favorite in all of anime, and this OP is just the best thing ever, because that's how that works. But be forewarned, it can get a bit fan servicey. And by a bit, I mean if you're uncomfortable with anime boobs, this is not the show for you. But if you're fine with it, then this is a fantastic time waiting to be had. Although I really wish Bones would just do a manga-focused remake in the vein of FMA already. Speaking of which... Get ready to hate me, internet, cause I still haven't seen Brotherhood. But Brotherhood's the best! Listen, I still don't know how the manga or Brotherhood stack up to the original run of FMA, but I'm not exactly unhappy with what I got. I feel bad that this show always gets forgotten in the shadow of its big brother, mainly because of a few choices that I can't really defend, and a few unfortunate products of the time. This show came out in 2003, which was after the anime industry made the jump to creating animation digitally, but before the new technology was fully mastered. So as a result, it will look objectively worse than a remake made after the techniques of the new anime age had been fully refined. But god damn it, they tried! This still looks better than pretty much any anime made around that time, and its lighting effects still look better than Brotherhood. And consider how big of a feat that is. People also complain about the slower pace compared to Brotherhood, and from what I've seen, the first 12 episodes of Brotherhood roughly equate to about 24 episodes of the original. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. The time spent getting to know these characters is not wasted. Connections are formed, you begin to care about even the most minor of characters, and start to really understand the motivations of each and every side of this story. You can totally empathize with this guy who's going around killing high-ranking military personnel, even though one of those military personnel he's out to kill is the protagonist. You still don't root for that guy, but you can empathize with him because you see his perspective. He is a very sympathetic character when you really get down to it. This whole show is packed full of moments like that. And I'm not hating on Brotherhood, I still haven't watched it, but the 2003 version really doesn't get enough appreciation. Speaking of things that don't get enough appreciation, Skullgirls! Boobs. There, I said it. Remember when I said Soul Eater's fanservice might make it hard for people uncomfortable with fanservice to get into it? Take that might and change it to a will definitely, and you have the animation for Skullgirls. I still don't know what the consensus on this is, and I have no idea if this makes much of a difference, but the lead animator pushing for all that boob jiggle is also female, and very proud of the team's efforts. I'm just gonna leave it at that for now and assume that you're okay with it, because boobs aside, this is one of the most beautiful games, 2D or 3D, that I have ever played. The animation is fluid and responsive, and has a masterful grasp on the 12 principles of animation. Its fast, snappy movements both look and feel amazing, and the backgrounds are just sublime. The proprietary engine framework also adds a bunch of little touches that make the animation even better. It actually interpolates the light you're in and shades the character appropriately. That's awesome! Although not all the tech is perfect. Sometimes characters will stand over each other, making things really confused within the simulated 3D space. Or I guess the simulated 3D space within 2D space, or whatever. One thing that is perfect though is the soundtrack from Symphony of the Night's Michiru Yamane. If I could describe Skullgirls in one word, that word would be fun. I haven't had this much fun playing a video game in a long time, and this game doesn't have a care in the world. This is a legit ending cutscene, it's great! I just really wish people could see past the boobs. Whatever. All I know is that this game rocks, and I seriously can't wait for Indivisible. There's a ton of other stuff that I love too that I wanted to put on this list, but I have to cap it at some point. Maybe I'll do another one of these sometime. Not to write off of a hashtag, but because it was actually legitimately fun to do. But for now, you can show that you like this video by giving it a like, subscribing, or sharing it with a friend you think may like it. And if you want to further support the channel, you can donate to my Patreon, because I hope my hand is still on screen. With all that said, I will see you wonderful people next time. Bye.